First, I have a quick announcement. My hometown theater has one digital projector, and they had to have it be digital because they needed a 3D projector. It was a Sony 4K. But as of a couple of days ago, they have gone to DLP Technology and Texas Instruments. They got a great deal. Turns out all 10 of their screens now have digital projectors on them, and 3 of them are 3D capable. That means I got to see this movie in 3D at my local theater nonetheless. This is awesome. It's going to make things so much easier for me to go see movies. And now about the movie Parker. First of all, let me say that the sound wasn't very good, and I don't know how that could possibly be. It is a Sony Dolby Digital theater, so, and I've never had a problem with sound at this theater before, give or take a couple of movies. So I'm gonna say that it's the movie's fault. Dialogue was fine, gunshots were fine, music was even fine, but background sounds seemed to come beat 2 in the background, and some sounds that should have been in the foreground were too muted. But if you don't care about technicalities like that, then why don't we talk about the film? I'm going to read off of Wikipedia the short plot summary. Parker, played by Jason Statham, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, is a professional thief who doesn't steal from the poor or hurt innocent people. Now, there was still plenty of action in this film, so don't worry about the lack of action. And when I say that, I mean this film had plenty of shooting, plenty of action, pretty much all shooting. But the point is, there was no lack in this movie, as other movies have, in my opinion, been lacking some action. It had more than Gangster Squad did. Moving on, the film opens with Parker being asked to take on a 5-man job with a crew he doesn't know. The job goes well, but the leader of the crew double crosses him. I'm going to say one thing about the job goes well. Not a huge spoiler here, because it's within the first 5 minutes of the movie. When they light up the stage, or I should say, Parker tells the crew to light up the animal pen, but instead they light up the stage, and there's kerosene there, and needless to say that explodes, and the stage goes up in flames, and they reveal a couple minutes later that one person was actually killed. So there was one hitch to the job. So anyway, they shoot Parker and leave him for dead. However, he survives and follows them to Palm Beach, Florida to get revenge on them. Disguising himself, he enlists the help of a real estate agent, Leslie Rogers, played by Jennifer Lopez, one of their targeted victims, to find out about the plan his former crew has made. Now, this says one of her former victims, but I didn't see any indicator that Leslie was a victim. Well, I mean, a target for them. That said, she does indeed help Parker in this movie. So, what did I think? Well, the action started out, the beginning was very fast. It got to the betrayal very quickly. It was within the first 5 minutes, as I said. It seemed like there was one guy who didn't really want to shoot him, but he did it anyway. Let's see. Just as fast as the beginning, began, things slowed down. There were plenty of action sequences, but the plot itself seemed to slow to a crawl. I felt like things were going on forever. I was about ready to close my eyes and drift off, but I paid attention, and it did pay off. There were some, in the middle of the movie, there were some cool areas where Parker and Leslie were, well, how do I describe it? Well, plot spoilers. They were having a really good time in this movie. First, as I said, this is indeed an action movie. There is plenty of action. If you like an action movie, you'll like this. If you like Jason Statham, you'll like this. If you like Jennifer Lopez, you'll like this. They do great acting. And if you like justice being served to the bad guys, you'll love this. I'm going to go into a bit of spoiler here. In the end, things work out great. They do. They really do. There's no problems really in this movie with the end. Everything's planned out. If you know the movies that Bruce Willis did, Die Hard, it's pretty much like that. Everything works out. It's, well, what else can you expect? It really is like a Bruce Willis movie or like a Fast and Furious movie where everything works out in the end. What else can I say about the movie? Some action funny moments, as I would have to call them. Like, when a guy tries to shoot his gun, there are a couple times where the guys try to shoot him gun, and uh-oh, it turns out Parker has emptied the magazine. Or actually, he said pulled out the firing pin. It turns out he's pulled out the firing pin. And the last action sequence, he's done that to pretty much every gun. No, to every gun, except for two, which he has one, and Leslie has the other. So that works out well. The money in the end goes up to Leslie. Oh, one more thing I got to talk about. Now I remember. There is a bit of a love thing going on here. Leslie is fallen in love with Parker. Parker is divorced, and he cares for her, but at the end of the movie, it's not to be. Turns out I didn't see this coming. I thought that he was going to get with her, but she says it's not to be with it, and he pretty much doesn't say yes, but he doesn't have to. He's still in love with his ex-wife, so we're left kind of with a cliffhanger in that case. And that's right after she gets the money, because part of the deal for her helping him is she'll get some of the money. Well, that's pretty much it for this movie. And now that I think about it, 7 or 8, what do you say? Let me think about it a little longer, and, oh yeah. Up here it'll either say a 7 or an 8. Give me a few minutes to think about it, and when the video is up, I'll have the answer.